right. Well, what's going on, everybody? My name is Marcus. I'm here with my lovely wife,
Shira.
and we together have created a platform, Black Married and Debt Free, where we kind of just outline and document how we were able to pay off our debts in 2017, 6K or not 6K, six-figure debt in 2017, and how we've just been building wealth since then. So we're glad to be on the podcast with you both. Thanks for having us on.
Right. So let's start. Let's go back to 2017. Like, how did you guys get to a point that you said it's time to tackle our debt? Like, how did you get there?
Yeah, so 2017, that was the finale. So that's when we paid off everything. Yeah. But about 2.5 years prior, we just had hit a low financial spot. Like, money was tight. We had a new baby, and we had more month than we had money. Yeah. And so after we discovered that, we made some changes. And some of those changes look like me re-entering the workforce. Marcus got a new job. He started an online business. We were able to eliminate the need for childcare, which saved us like $1,000 per month. And so we were able to get our income up. And so we said, let's focus in on the debt and let's knock that out. Yeah. And so that's what we did. In about 2.5 years of focusing on debt elimination, we were able to pay off all of our debts, which included a student loan, credit cards, and then at the time we had purchased a condo, so we paid our condo off.
Right.
Cool. And for full transparency, like when we first got married, I was like in charge of the finances, I guess you could say. Right. And so I didn't do a great job of managing things, man. Like, my mentality was like, I could always get another job to address any deficiencies, right? So
yeah, he tried too. He had 2 full-time jobs. Yeah, that didn't last long.
Like, was it? So you just had the mindset that I can increase my income instead of addressing. Yeah, okay.
Because I always felt like if Shire wanted something for me to say no, then that's gonna be a bigger conversation. Like, well, how come? Like, that'll.
You know what I mean? I know what you mean, man. It's a tough thing because, we want to be able just to be able, whatever you want, I got you. New car, got you. House, got you. Oh, you want this bed? Okay, got you. That's what we want to do. So I feel that. So you guys, it took you said 2 years to pay it off?
Like 2.5 years.
A little over 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So how did you guys kind of develop a plan? Was it the books, or was it prior education, or?
We had that and we were still broke.
Yeah, it was just like we knew, okay, our backs were against the wall. Like, so I was speaking with a friend of mine and one time, and we were just sharing, like, it took that rock bottom moment for me to realize, because we all, like I said, I always knew we're not in the greatest place financially. Like, I knew that at some point we had to figure something out. People talk about retiring, and I knew, man, I'm not even putting away for retirement. But in my mind, I was like, it'll all work itself out,
Yeah.
So if we wouldn't hit that rock bottom, which was me getting 2 full-time jobs, realizing I couldn't do it, and having to drop one. And when I dropped that one, then it was like Shire wasn't working because we had our son. So it was like, okay, we literally have this much coming in a month and way more going out. So we got to do something. So it took that for us to be like, okay, we have to do it. So once we realized, hey, we got to do something, that's when we started the process. And we didn't really know how, we just kind of organically did it. We started paying off the smallest debt. Then we kept rolling it over to the next debt,
Well, let me rewind a little bit, because when we say that we really didn't have enough money to pay our bills, we really didn't. Mm-hmm. So we didn't start doing the debt elimination until we had to increase our income in order to do that. Oh, okay. So when we first got married, back in 2007, we had a relative come over to our house and say, you need life insurance, and I want to sign you up for this little savings. You know, you can start
an investment account.
You can start, start an investment account. We just kind of wanted to be nice, because here we are, 21 years old at, back in 2007. We're thinking, we ain't gonna die. We don't need life insurance. We ain't got no kids.
Yes.
And so, anyway, so we just signed up for it anyway. So we signed up for life insurance, and then we opened up this investment account. We were only putting like $25 in it a month. So when we hit our rock bottom, we didn't have any emergency savings. We weren't being responsible. But we remembered that we were putting $25 into this investment account. And unfortunately, we had to cash that out. And so when we cashed it out, it was actually a couple of $1,000s. And so what we did to keep ourselves afloat was we paid some bills in advance. Mm-hmm. And so that bought us some time to like really figure out what we were going to do. Yeah. And so that bought us some time. And so I can give a little bit more detail as to what we did, because I did mention some of it earlier. So I found a job. I found a job on Craigslist. I re-entered the workforce, got pregnant again. Oh, well, anyway, I re-entered the workforce. Marcus, he's a musician.
Right.
He found a gig at a church, so that brought in a little bit, then he found another job. So he had another better full-time job. Right. And we work off shifts. So he's working at night. I'm working in a day, and so because he works nights, it allowed him to be home with our children. Mm-hmm. And so that saved us some money. And so like we really reached this point to where it was like, man, we were doing bad, but now we got a little bit of money, we got a little bit of, so what we gonna do? So we were like, do we want to get a car? Do we want, what we gonna do? We were just like, let's just pay this debt off. Yeah. And so our strategy was, well, Shira, you re-enter the workforce. Marcus, he done got a new job, So what we did was we took one of our incomes and we put that on to the debt. So each month we knew where the money was going. I didn't have to sit down and like make a new budget every month, because we already had talked about it. The money is gone. It's already set aside. It already had a purpose. And so for us, 2.5 years is relatively a short time frame, just to be able to knock out this debt, which at that time did include a home mortgage. So we did it. If it would have taken us 10 years or 15 years to pay off our debt, we probably would have chosen a different strategy. But for us, it was a relatively short amount of time. So we just buckled down and did it.
All right. So what would be, without giving away all, the secrets, but like, what do you think, or when do you think couples or, new marriages should focus on debt? Like, should it be the first thing they focus on? Like, should it be, like when should, because like, okay, we've been married going on 3 years now. So is now the time we should start, hey, let's be smart, or are we too late? Are we, what I'm saying? Like, where we at, so.
That's a great question.
We're probably going to give you two different answers. Yeah. So I'll let you know.
Well, for me, I think as soon as you realize, the sooner you realize that you need to make a change, and when you get that unction, like, we in church, we use those words. As soon as you get that unction, like, man, maybe we should do something different, I think then is the time. For us, we kind of just had blinders on, so we didn't get that realization until the rock bottom. But if you could do it before the rock bottom comes, then that's the best course of action. So that's kind of the advice I would give. But it's never too late.
Okay.
It's never too late to start saying, okay, well, now let's change this thing and really start building that financial literacy and implementing it into our situation.
Right. And I think of that, the hashtag people say that couples goals. Mm-hmm. So part of your couples goals, you should have a plan for the future. We got married really young. We were 21 years old. We didn't have no plan. We didn't have any goals. Right. We just wanted to get married, and so as we got older and we started to have children, it's like, we need a plan, and
that literally sounds like us right now. Like we got married literally 22, 23, and now it's like, okay, We have kids.
We need a plan.
We need a plan. Like
it's time for the next step.
Yeah, and it can be a long-term plan, you know, and your plan doesn't have to look like our plan. It doesn't have to look like someone else's plan. You know, a lot of people on IG, they like to do flossing, you know, they like to floss. Right. We put out a lot of tips, you know, but we don't do a lot of flossing, you know, so don't get caught up in what other people are doing. But if debt elimination is a goal, or maybe your goal is, you know, you want to save for a house, or you want to start saving for your kids' education, or whatever it may be, you know, you just establish those goals and then come up with a few steps that'll take you a little closer to completing it.
Right. So I know you said at first you used to manage the money. So did we switch roles there, or is it like a joint effort now? Or?
Yeah, now it's definitely a joint effort. You know, growing up, man, especially like growing up in church, it's like this thing is like the man is a covering, and right. And so I kind of took that like, well, I'm going to be in charge of the finances, and I see you laughing already. It's like I'm gonna be in charge of the finances, and you know, we're kind of gonna go by how I shape and drive the car, so to speak. But then, you know, like, man, we can't. I realized early, like, I can't mirror the marriage that like my aunts and uncles or my grandparents had, or the OGs that I looked to. Like, this is 2020, and it's different now, you know. So it's more of a joint effort, you know. The fellas, I never saw my dad change a diaper. I changed so many diapers with my kids.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different world.
It's a different era, yeah. We can cook now. We do everything. It's like
exactly.
Gender roles have changed so much.
Exactly. So I finally realized that she's the smart one. I'm not even gonna front. Like, she's the brains of the operation. So it's just kind of putting aside that ego thing. So I was able to do that. And since then, it's been a joint effort, and it's been beautiful. You know, it's more transparency. You know, we get questions. Should we have two separate accounts and Should our money be separate? And, you know, we always say, we advise like against that. You know, it's good to kind of put things together just to create that transparency. Now, you can have your own aside from your main accounts, right. But you want to have something together. Right. You know, it just has worked out well for us.
When you were talking, I was thinking, we went to marital counseling. They did not talk about finances.
Oh yeah,
they didn't talk about it. And
I usually skip that.
Right. And I mean, he was the pastor's grandson, and my pastor and his pastor were friends. And I just think that your grandpa was so happy someone wanted to marry you. That they just kind of let us off. I'm playing, but I think they just kind of let us off easy. Like,
all right.
Which is a whole nother conversation. Maybe we should consider going to licensed counselors instead of like let pastors pastor.
Let them pastor. I think we put too much on them, but
especially when they're family. Right. I understand.
Yeah, I think for us, the reason I wanted to talk to you guys was because we had this moment. Well, I had this moment where I realized that I was making so much more money than people around me, but yet they were in a better financial space as far as credit, investments, actual assets they had, and I could not see my money. Like, I knew we were making money. Like, I'm a musician too, so I'm making the 200 here, 300 there. It's coming in cash every day. I work too. She works, so the money's coming in. They were like, "Wait, where's it going?"
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't see going out to eat. You can't see some of the stuff we buy, you know. So it just hit me one day, like, what are we doing? We're literally just throwing away money. So I've been on this journey during this pandemic, really kind of stopping and researching and learning. So,
that's deep, and it's funny because we have conversations like, without knowing exactly what others are making, we're surrounded by high income earners, like family, friends, and we do okay, you know, but it's not like what you make is what I like to say. It's what you can keep. And it's great that you put that, you said you're kind of having that awakening. Like, I like to, Shar came up with this saying, but I really like it. There's a saying out, assets over liabilities, which is a liability is just like things that cost you money, your car, things you have to maintain, you know, credit, you know, things that you get on credit. And so Shire came up with this assets over income. And I said, man, I really like that because high income is great, but the assets are the things that you can pass down. I can't pass down. I make 100K a year. My kids, there's nothing they can do with that. So I have to transfer that into assets or things that I could pass down. So that's kind of the phase that I'm into, JT. So I think that's really dope. And the fact that you're seeing that and it's like, okay, well, let me change some things. I mean, you're already on the right track. You know what I mean? So I think that's great, man.
Right. So what products do you guys have? What do you guys offer? I know you like pretty much financial coaches now, but like what do you guys have for, you know, a couple like us or any couple that's like it's time to make the next step? Like what do you guys offer?
Yeah, well, we can start with the coaching because I think after we were able to pay off our debt, it really became important. It was very liberating for us. It was a really great experience. And if we could help other folks or partner with other folks to do the same, that just became really important to us. So I went through a coaching program here in California through a prominent university here. It's UC Davis. And so I went and got a coaching certification. So we kind of pair that with our knowledge and experience in paying off debt to partner with couples to do the same. We work with some singles too. And so from other than the coaching, we have a master class. It's called Get Out of Debt and Start Building Wealth. So it's about an hour and a half of on-demand content. And then part of that is a coaching call with us. So I think the biggest value of purchasing a class is that one-on-one time that you get with us. And so the class is part debt elimination and then also asset acquisition. Because one of the things that we did is we were paying off debt, we started researching real estate. And so as soon as we became debt-free, the very next year, we acquired 2 rental properties. And so that is just really important that we also talk about real estate. That's one of our passions as well.
Right. Do you guys think that, you can go.
Go ahead, JT.
Do you guys think that, because, you know, rental properties have increased in popularity. A lot of people want to get into real estate, but I think you have to be the right type of person. So do you think that that's an asset that everybody should have regardless? Like you should have property, or is it for a certain type of person?
Yeah, so there are 3 main ways that you can build wealth. One is through investing into the market. Another is through starting a business. And then the other is real estate. I mean, when you look at folks that are doing really well, those are the 3 means that they've used to acquire their wealth. And so real estate, there are many ways to get into real estate. We're not flippers. We live in California and we can't afford to buy a thing here, which is why we invest out of state. And we do it with children. And as Marcus was hinting earlier about assets being more important than income, we are by no definition high income earners. Not here. So, so one of the things with real estate, like I was saying, there are many ways that there are many doors. So we're not flippers. We are buy and hold investors. And we have a property management company that
does all the heavy lifting.
Lifting. They collect the rents, they stick it into our account. If there is a need with a property, if a toilet overflows or, things have happened and they will happen. Right. We just have a really great property manager and they oversee all of that. So we don't have to deal with the heartache of what it could be. Right. So it just depends.
And I think for individuals who want to get into real estate, but don't necessarily want to deal with a brick and mortar building, you can invest in real estate through the stock market by investing in what's called REITs. REIT it's called a real estate investment trust. And pretty much think of it like crowdfunding for someone who, or a company that has a bunch of different income producing real estate. You're just getting in on it with them and getting your, getting the increase with that. So that is another easy way. So there's multiple ways, but I definitely think even if it's just owning your own home.
Yes.
JT, we've been studying redlining and all the different ways historically that they've been trying to keep us from owning real estate, you know, and I feel like it's like a this dark secret, and it's the Renaissance is we're starting to be like, you know what, we need to own something. So we're starting to get, so I think it's very important to own some type of land, property, something. You know what I mean?
Even if it's just your primary residence. I mean, that when they talk about the wealth gap, that's a home. You need to own a home.
Got to own a home, right?
You know, so hopefully that's, you know, in folks' long-term plan. I think real estate can be for anyone. Like if you don't want to deal with the day-to-day hassle, get a property manager. I mean, I think it has become a hot topic, and I think that we don't want to get caught up in some folks' story. I own all these doors, and I'm convinced that some people are counting every door in their home. They count closet doors, they count bathroom doors, they own all these doors. Really?
Right.
I just need to say that, but you know, but we're parents, we're real people. We still work a 9 to 5, and thank God for it. And so it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Right. So what is the goal for you guys? Is it to be wealthy? Is it to be like rich, as you know, what people would consider rich? Like, what is the goal? Because so many people go into finances not even knowing what they want. Like they say they want wealth, but then they really saying, I want liquid money. I want to be able to, like you said, floss. But, you know, do you have assets to pass down? Do you have, you know, so what is the goal for you guys?
Yeah, I think that one thing we want to make clear is that we're not chasing money. We don't even talk about money that often, you know. That's a shallow life to live.
Right.
And I think that when you have these money conversations, as soon as you have them and you have a plan, then you just work your plan and you go about your life. For real estate, you know, that is one of our passions. And so Marcus, he had an idea. He wanted to get a property, and I'm just like, you're moving too fast for me. Let me think about this, you know, but I think that in a marriage is a partnership, and I need to honor his vision and vice versa. And so we've decided we want to acquire more properties, and we sat down and we developed a 10-year plan for the way that we plan to pursue it long term. And so I think our future plan consists of acquiring more rental properties, and we have a plan to do that, a long-term plan, because one property is not going to change your life. And I try to be very clear with people when I'm having these one-on-one interactions. I want to get a property. That's great. But that one property is not going to change your life. But if you have a couple, then, you know, it's a little bit better, you know. So we have a long-term plan for our real estate business. And then we also invest quite a bit of our income into the stock market each month. So do you want to add to that?
Yeah, and I could be out by myself on this one, Shire, but JT, I'm trying to come off this job, man. That is like what maybe you consider that a short-term goal, but I want to retire early, man. It's like Shire said, it's not about the money. It's just about having the freedom and the options to do what I want to do. And so that's my short-term goal, and I think through the plan that me and Shire have kind of come up with, we're going to use real estate to be able to accelerate that. And so it's just kind of a beautiful thing, because the short-term goal is to retire for me, maybe for Shire. Shire's more of a career person. So, but we're going to use real estate to do that. And so what we're doing is we're creating something to pass down for our kids organically. It's just, it kind of like fulfills all of those different goals, because the goal is not to just, you know, live for myself, but also to be able to pass something down. So we'll be able to knock all those things out by implementing this strategy. So that's kind of our long-term thing. Is like, man, I want to be able to be there for my kids while they're still living at home without always having to work. Yeah. And then when I leave this earth, I want to have something for them that they can have options, you know, and not have to get it from the mud or start from the bottom.
Start from scratch. That's what a lot of us have to do. Every generation starts from scratch, because the parents, you know, they leaving a legacy in the life that they lived and the love that they've given.
But we have to start over, every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, man. So let's see. I asked all my stuff.
I wanted to talk about, it's probably not really about investing, but you said that you watch the kids in the daytime. Marcus watch the kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did that go? Like you guys took turns?
It's really interesting, man. Like, 'cause I think about it, like so our daughter is 5 and my son is 7. And I pretty much watched them from birth. My daughter for sure from birth till, she's going to kindergarten now. So it's been a great experience, something that I can years from now probably look back and be like, "Yeah, that was special." Yeah. But in the moment, it's a lot.
I work in childcare, so that's why I was asking. Like, usually a lot of our parents stay home. Our moms stay home, so I was like, "Oh, I need to ask them about how did that go?" Like,
yeah,
right. And our daughter, she did homeschool for her transitional kindergarten, and so he even did homeschool with her.
Really?
So,
Wow.
That's dope.
Yeah, he did good too.
It's been an experience. I feel like they're great kids because so I work nights, but I'm home at about 3 a.m. So it's still still dark out. And so I would sleep my thing is like, if I could just get sleep till 9-ish, right?
Oh yeah.
I was wondering, how did you sleep? Like, that's what I was trying to figure out.
You don't get much sleep.
Yeah, so Shire would set up the breakfast so the kids would know to just go and get it out of the fridge and don't wake up daddy, let him kind of get us some. So it's been a whole family effort. And so, the kids have been great. They made my job easier, but it's been interesting, but it's been a blessing because we were able to save so much. Like we talk about this, that was crucial. Childcare and cutting down childcare was crucial to us being able to pay off the debt. Because if we were paying $1,000 a month childcare
on a discount,
oh man, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So
it's collect the payments. I know.
Right.
I know.
Definitely. So also, I think you guys mentioned that you believe that you should have at least one joint account versus separate accounts. Is that more for accountability, like to hold each other accountable, or is it just to always know what you guys have? Because I see some people talk about it to hold each other accountable, then some people go about it saying, "Oh, we just know what we have."
Yeah. I'm not holding him accountable. He's grown. I'm not holding him accountable.
She says that now.
Okay. So
that's a good question.
That's a great question. I mean, we have account together. That's like our bills. Like, my income goes in there, his income goes in there, and the bills come out, and together we came up with the specific dollar amount that we could spend each week, and that would kind of be like our allowance. So like I'm home now, I'm working from home, but like I would go into work every week, and some days I would have to bring lunch because I knew I had $30 for the week. That's it.
I need to up that a little bit. No.
We brought it down because it used to be more, but we brought it down. We had $30. So I'm sticking to my $30. I'm trusting that he's sticking his $30. That it is what it is. It don't have to be $30. It can be whatever you all decide. But once you have that agreement, I'm not like spying on him, and he's not spying on me. If he goes over a couple of dollars, or if I go over a couple of dollars, it's just a couple of dollars. You'll be okay, So we have that, and we have an emergency fund that is separate from our regular bill. So we keep that money in a money market account. And then we got this other account that is kind of like our goal, our dream account that has money in it. And he pretty much oversees that one.
Is that the hustle one?
The hustle account.
Oh, yeah. Because we have some goals this year. So, and, but what is cool though is that we have access to all of them. You know what I mean? So we're all under one platform. We can see them and . So I think that's cool. Now you may want, different couples may say, well, I definitely want something on the side, because one struggle we have is like, okay, so if I want to not bless you, but if I want to get you a gift,
that's
right?
what I was trying to say.
You know what I'm saying? If I want to get her a new ring or something, and she sees X amount has gone from the account, then
This is an ongoing conversation. He keeps talking about this imaginary ring.
Right.
Where's the ring?
You got some time. But
it's time for upgrade.
Yeah.
It's been about 13 years.
But
Throwing it out there,
Right. But for us, the joint account,
that, though.
For us, the joint account thing has worked, and I think transparency is a part of it. It's unspoken, but it does keep you accountable. Because if I just had an account all to myself, it just like you have, we believe that in marriage, you should try to bring as much together as possible, because this makes everything better. If everybody got their own thing, and it's easier for when somebody make you mad to be like, well, I got my own thing on the side anyway. I'm gonna just, you kind of like, more interdependence instead of independence. So.
Gotcha. Cool. This is my last question. Do you guys have a strict budget? Like, are you the type of people that we watch on TV that every single cent is counted for, or is it more fluid? Because I know some people who, are financial coaches. To me, it's like so overboard. Like, I don't even want to get involved because I'm like, I don't want to live like that. Like,
exactly.
I want to be smart, but I don't want to be like that. Like
restrictive, like a diet. Like I failed every diet. Like we don't have time for that. Basically, you want to develop healthy habits, and so a budget. Like we have a budget, in the technical sense, but like it goes back to like our spending. So I had $30 a week to buy what I want, but then we also have like entertainment money. So we have guidelines, right? And we stay within our guidelines, but we don't sit there and give every single penny. No. Because we choose not to live like that. And you don't have to, because we paid off all of our debt. We have rental properties. We're doing the things that we want to do, and we don't live like that. So it's like have a plan for your money. Have goals and make sure that your behaviors are in support of those financial goals. And when we coach people, we don't ask people their income. Someone else's income is none of my business. So as their coach, I want to help them do things that are going to move them forward. Me knowing how much money they make every month is not really helping to move them forward. That's just me being nosy. So I know that some financial coaches will do that, but in coaching, the person is supposed to do the work. It's not my responsibility as a coach to do the work for you. The work includes you looking at what's coming in and what's going out, and you making the parameters that you feel comfortable with. So some people say they're coaches but have no formal training in coaching. And that's just the bottom line. I mean, there's not a legal definition. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm not going to go into all that, but I think that it's good to work with a coach, but really, if you're working with a coach, the responsibility of the work belongs on the person that's working with the coach. It's like having a gym membership. I have a gym membership, but if you don't take your behind to the gym, you're not going to see the results that you desire. So no, we don't sit there and penny pinch and nag over every little thing. We just have certain money for certain purposes, and then we just do our best to stay with.
Do your best to stay with it. Gotcha.
You definitely show each other grace too. I think when you hear budget, there's no grace involved.
I busted my budget.
I busted my budget.
Calm down.
Right. We can make it back.
Next month, or
right. Yeah, but when you're first getting started, like what I tell people, I don't say start with a budget. I say start with a cash flow statement. And a cash flow statement is just listing all of your income and then all of your expenses, just listing them out. Don't say what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to do yet.
Put them out. Yeah.
Just list them and just look at it and see, what are things you're happy about? What are things you would like to change? Like, don't go right into making a budget. Just do a cash flow statement. See what's coming in. See what's going out. What new awareness, what new knowledge are you experiencing now that you're just looking at the information? And then you can go forward in making a plan. I think if you're getting started, you do want to build a budget, but it doesn't have to be so restrictive.
And I think that's the biggest thing that helped us too. Is like when you finally see it on paper, it's like you spoke to that too, JT. It's like, I'm getting this money, but I really can't really tell you where it's going. I just know that.
Yeah, that was tough for me, man.
Yeah. So that's when I did that. I was like, man, okay, so I spend this much on Starbucks. Dang.
Right.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
So that will help you. And what it will do is it'll help you change your taste.
Right.
You're like, dang, I don't want to do that no more. So now the whole being on a rigid budget is not necessary. And so you're able to live your life because, like, I'm still doing what I want. I just don't want to spend $50. I want to spend $30 now, you know?
Right. And another thing that we do is we are investing in our 403Bs and our 401Ks through our jobs. So when I get my check, I make sure that I'm taking care of me first. He's making sure he's taking care of him first, so we can take care of us later on down the line. So my check is substantially smaller than it would be if I were to just take everything, you know. So, you know, tap into those 401k. I mean, do the research on your 401k at your job, but make sure that you are investing first so that you can feel good if you do spend maybe a little bit more than you wanted to spend, because you know that you've already taken care of you first.
Right. So, look, in closing, I need you guys to tell us, you know, what you got, where to find you. I know you got the podcast, the YouTube, the Insta. So let everybody know how they can get in contact with you. And
well, first of all, we want to thank you guys for having us on the podcast.
Thank you guys. Yeah, man.
Absolutely. So you can find our content on YouTube. You can type in Black Married and Debt Free. You can find, we have over like 100 videos, I believe, on YouTube where we're just kind of talking about giving tips about, you know, financial tips, financial literacy, and we do it kind of in a fun way. And then you can also check out our podcast, available anywhere you get podcasts. After you know, done listening to Pillow Talk podcast, switch over to a Black Married and Debt Free podcast. And
is it weekly? Y'all every week?
Yeah, okay, we drop every at Friday at midnight. So for your Friday morning commute, you can turn that
Thursday.
on. And, yeah, Thursday at midnight, Friday at midnight. I don't know. Well, anyway, Friday morning is there.
It's there on Friday morning.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you can check out our masterclass if you interested in learning more. We did a deep dive on how we the strategies we use to get out of debt and that we're currently using to build wealth. So you could find that on our Instagram. Yeah, go to our Instagram and it's right in our link in our description, and you can tap into the masterclass and everything.
Cool.
That's good.
Well, look, guys, we appreciate you guys for taking out your Sunday for us. I know you guys are extremely busy, so I was glad that you had time, like real talk. So
absolutely, anytime. We got to do this again.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you both.
The baby's beautiful. Come here, baby.
No, we don't need one more.
We're done. Yeah, we're done. That's it for us.
That's it.
Y'all got 2 or 1?
3.
3. Yay.
5, 1,
and this one.
Yeah.
Yep, we're done.
Is it a large difference from 2 to 3?
No.
Actually, no.
It's not.
Literally like the easiest way I could put it is it's like having 2, just 1 more. Like
it's no difference. Like we were worried, but
we were so nervous.
It's literally been the exact same. Now we just have an extra person.
We do the same thing, just with an extra person. Like,
yeah. But now we run out of space, so we have to get an SUV. Like we had 2 cars.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing, space. So you're gonna have 2 backpacks. You're gonna have 2 strollers if you have a young, or you know.
Right.
But yeah.
But that's it.
Well, all right,
so
you guys.
Precious. Come here, baby.
Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right. Bye-bye.